So I'm going to talk about something today that's kind of interesting to me, and a lot of people wouldn't know about it. I have a water bottle here I got from Ollie's. It's a metal one. Kind of like anything you'd buy. That if you buy the higher price brands, you get a better product. But there's certain things that you notice, like for instance, when this is shut, okay, when it's opened, the coffee will kind of spill out, or because there's no pressure release here. And I'll show you what I did. So I drilled a hole right here. You see that hole? And how I did it is I kind of figured exactly where that would be when it's shut, so it doesn't leak. But then when it's open, it does give you a valve. So you kind of want to figure that out. I could have gone back a little bit further, had more room, but you see where it clicks in that plastic tab, you really can't. So, but one of the things I have is a very old set of tools here. I'm going to show them to you right here in a minute. And these are a Mars Straddler box. It's a pencil box. My neighbor Tom Creed had this back in the 1940s. See, I have a little angle. This is nice for depth gauging and measuring. So I have a lot of really nice old tools in here. A lot of these little drill bits. This drill bit, punch. You know, I'm always asked by people, what are these things? Okay, what are these? Well, they serve more than one purpose. Okay, they really do. There's two purposes to these things. You might wonder what they are. Actually, three. You can use them as weights if you need to have a specific weight. Use them as a specific weight. If you're scribing, you can. But anyhow, these, as you can see, have marks right here. So what you would do if you wanted to drill in a specific area, you could set them in that area, drop your bit down into that, if it fits, go through. But you'll note that I have these bits and none of them go through that. So people have used that if you wanted to drill specifically in an area you wanted to have a hole at, and it's like on steel or metal or something, you could use it as a guide. But also solves another fundamental use. The other fundamental use is this right here. Now, you'll note when I'm drilling something, I'm going to pack this into my hand like this. I'm going to brace it because I'm trying to turn something, I'm trying to turn something and I'm trying to drill by hand. I don't have anything right here I'd like to drill a hole into, but let's say it's a zinc bottle, okay, and I want to drill a hole into it. I could go like this to get it started, but once I'm actually drilling, I'm going to be holding my hand like this to drill into it, okay. What that's going to do is the same way as if you're using any kind of a fire starting method, like the fire stick, the bow, you'll get tension on that. You have to have something to protect your hand. You have a burn mark. So what these are also useful for is you put them on, and use that as a inside your palm. Put that in there. So now it spins freely, and I'm gonna try to do this with one hand. Now when I'm drilling and turning, see, it has multiple reasons for this working. Number one, if you have that stuck in your hand, as you turn, you will get a little bit of a bounce to your drill. It's not as precise. If you have it steady like that, see, I can keep it perfectly steady. And as you turn into this little chuck, I don't want to drill through this, but it'll work that way. So these are basically like a nice little toggle for your hand. That's what the purpose of these actually is. I've had so many people find these at yard sales, and especially with machinists like my neighbor Tom was, and think of them as being weights and think of them being guides. They were all these things. They had more than one use, but mainly they were for if you wanted to drill into something, you wanted a guide. And what they look like are these little You see little things like this. It'll focus. Little things like this. You can see it's a carbon steel because of the carbide, but it's very, very old, and they were used for that reason. All these drills have different sized hollow tips on the end, and that should be one example for you of how they work, how they fit into that. Not as much play. Here's one that's a lot smaller. You can see how that doesn't fit, but if I go to a smaller size, it does. The smaller one does. So that was generally the reasoning for having these in different sizes. Let me see here. There's a couple other things here. See how it's hollow, and you see how this is a chuck on it. Okay, this chuck is like any other chuck. It comes apart. There's your teeth. There's your shank, and fits just like any other drill. Some of these I can't turn because they've been used so long for so many decades that to put it in a vise. But that's what those are for. Going back to these things, a little straight edge angle, you know, great to have. It's small. I believe this one is it's kind of strange to me because it's almost like it's cut down. It's like almost like this is a handmade one by IBS. Clean it up a little bit. One side's inches, the other side's millimeters, of course. Very small. I believe it's like 2 inches, something like that. This depth gauge is really nice. It has a measurement this way with a locking screw. You can see that screw actually toggles and tightens. So if you have something you want to figure the depth of, let's say or you want to measure the depth of it, you measure it to whatever it says there, and you just tighten it, and there you go. These are tools you don't see very often anymore. They were used by machinists, and go back to America, you know, during World War II and post World War II when we were making our own crap. Alright, I wanted to show that to you because a lot of people come across these tools and do not know what they are.